You read the title right, ladies and gentlemen. You read the title correctly. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is better than Boruto. It is a matter of simple causality of the universe, the cosmos itself. It is probably one of the best sequels I have read for, or spin-offs even, for any other like manga, popular series that was, and then they had a spin-off slash sequel. So not just Boruto, but it's also better than, I argue, the Taite Kubo Burn the Witch, which is the spin-off slash sequel of Bleach. And I'll even go as far as say it's better than Dragon Ball Super. Whoa, yeah. Yes. I'm gonna get to the spoil stuff later in the video. But for now, I'm gonna keep this 100 with everybody else. There are core reasons why Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is really, really good. And of course, they tie directly to the content we got in JJK. But within a 6-month window, when you look at the numbers right now, at least for 2025 and 2026, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is the #1 viewed series on Manga Plus in the West. Right here, you have JJK Modulo is at #1, Chainsaw Man's at #2, One Piece at #3, Boruto is at #4, Dadaran, which has had an insane rise of fame popularity because of the popping anime, is at #5. Dragon Ball Cho, or Dragon Ball Super, is #6. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo beat them all. Before we get to the spoilers, there's a few cornerstone reasons why it's so damn good, particularly I think for me over Boruto, because it does something so well that Boruto, at least for a long period of time, failed to do. Should I speak on Boruto as a whole? No. But will I? Yes, I absolutely will. But before I get to that, in of itself, what Modulo does better than the original JJK, first of all, I think, is the artwork. So the story is done, of course, by Gege Akutami, but the arc is done by a cat named Yuji Wasaki. And Yuji Wasaki, oh man, the arc is really, really, really damn good. I think on a regular basis, the arc of Modulo is better than the arc of JJK. That's what I'd say. And bars. And I really do think that the arc does bring to life some of the moments in a better way than Gege could. Not to say that Gege is a bad artist, of course not, but I think that Yuji Wasaki has done a fantastic job with his artwork for the story as it is. So that's the first thing I just really like, the arc compared to, let's say, JJK in of itself. #2, JJK Modulo takes place 65-ish years after the main story, and I think that in terms of time frame, it's a good enough time frame to where it's close enough to the main story that these moments in the main story, its finale, these things still matter, and they matter directly to the main cast of characters, Tsurugi and Yuka, just considering who their grandparents are. But then it's also far enough to where a lot of the material that Tsurugi and Yuka go through and the other main character, Maru, they can really stand on their own. And this goes into #3. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo has a main cast of characters in Yuka, in Tsurugi, and in Maru that can really stand on their own. They don't need the main characters of Jujutsu Kaisen to come into Modulo to prop up the story, because the story does fantastically well without them. And this is one of my core criticisms of Boruto, meaning Boruto, the main character himself, Sarada, yes, Sarada, the other kid, I forgot his name, the Orochimaru, like, hybrid dude, and then the other guy, whatever. They cannot stand alone, or they couldn't stand alone and carry Boruto. Boruto's name brand was carried by Naruto and Sasuke predominantly, and Sakura too on occasion, I suppose, right? But the idea is that they just couldn't carry Boruto. It was impossible, because when you looked at the moments that got the most attention by the fan bases of Naruto/Boruto, the moments that got the most views by people in the West mainly, of course, maybe even Japan too, but in the West, it was of course the moments that were about Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke are getting more views and more attention by the Naruto/Boruto fan base, way more so compared to Boruto and his merry band of misfits. So it didn't matter how many times these meddlesome kids uncovered the Scooby-Doo mystery and solved the case. It didn't really matter because at the end of the damn day, it was Naruto and Sasuke that carried the vast majority of the viewers' attention. There were many folks that read Naruto that wanted to like Boruto, but they just couldn't get into it, not at all. And in terms of the manga and even in the anime, correlation number 4, where a lot of the content that we get for Boruto is a rehash of what we got for the movie, though modified, and then in the anime's case specifically, a metric ton of filler. At the end of the damn day, in terms of quality, it lags so far behind Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, where Modulo is at such a high quality right now, where in these chapters that I've read in the series, when we were talking about it during my streams on my Cole Requiem YouTube channel, lads and ladies, there was a good possibility, like we could see it, where there's gonna be a sequel even beyond Modulo, where it could be 100 or 200, 300, like on some free-run activity, right? X amount of years after the death of Himmel. It's possible to where we could see something like that for Jujutsu Kaisen, which would be insane, but the quality of the story that Gege has been crafting with JJK Modulo, a window of 6 months in real time, which is actually relevant in the story itself, that could potentially lead to another sequel for JJK. And it's working really, really well right now. The best sequel slash spin-off I've seen from a shonen to date that I've read so far. Have I read all of them? No, of course not. But so far, I would say it is the best, if not one of the best. Like, it's top 2, top 3 easily. And before I get into the spoiler section for this video, I do want to give you guys a few seconds to skedaddle, say your piece, and then I'll see you later. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's spoiler time. Yo. Oh my goodness. I want to apologize first and foremost for all of the Modulo fans out there, because at the beginning, when I read the first few chapters about the aliens, about the Sumerians coming in from their home world, and I was interested about the aliens, but it seemed like we were focusing on the typical Jujutsu storyline, and when it came to, let's say, taking out cursed spirits, when it came to sorcerers gone rogue, things of that sort. And Marulu was not interesting or captivating, neither was Cross really, or any of the Sumerians that are there on the ship. None of it was really interesting, and I thought it was a really slow start. But once we get the alien flashback, yeah, the flashback about the Sumerians and then the sub-tribes of the Rumel and the Deskunte, right? This was interesting activity. Gege was cooking with the world building because we were literally going to a whole new world. And seeing how this whole new world operated with similar concepts of using cursed energy, but nowhere near to the same complexity as what you saw in Japan. And how you had the Kallians, and how the Kallians were deemed as like deities damn near, but they were also like cursed entities in some way. But the Kallians were only worshipped by the Rumelinian people, and they were actually killing the Deskuntes at times, right? So there was that tribe conflict where the gods of one people were killing another clan of people, and the cursed spirits, or whatever's akin to them on their planet, the Rumelinians, have a very symbiotic, compassionate relationship between the cursed spirits or gods of that world and themselves, to where they would even have the fluid from their eye come out, and then they would die in the process? Wait, what? And then how that situation on their planet creates a direct conflict with the people of Japan, because the cursed spirits there, which aren't the exact same thing as the world of Sumeria, but close enough to where it would actually make conflict between the Vermilions when they arrive and the cursed users of Japan. What? It was an innate beef because of how they view things like curses. That was Gege cooking with pig grease. It was delicious. He was using gi when he brought in the Deskunte, and the Deskunte have their situation with the Rumilinians and the chief, and how this man Deborah and his sister had to literally ride with the Rumilians on the crazy shit that Marlu makes after getting all of that unique metal ore on their homeworld that reacts to cursed energy and can be manipulated as they fly through the vastness of space to find a new home. And so they had to go off-world to avoid the chief of the Deskunte people. Yo, I can go on and on and on. But essentially speaking, the world building slaps. It's not just, okay, we hear about an extra world somewhere in the vastness and the aliens are here. No, we get to see. We actually get to see. I'm a big believer in show not tell. And Gege and Yuji showed us. Speaking of Yuji, even though Yuka and Tsurugi and Marlu can stay on their own as characters, and they do a great job. They do a great job. Yuka, the fact that her character is going to die probably really soon because the story's time frame of 6 months is based on her cancer. And then she summons Mahoraga, bro. There's just no way. What? The audacity, the unmitigated gall to summon Mahoraga once again and showcase Mahoraga in a new light that really feels more justified as to why Mahoraga is feared. We heard about Mahoraga having a draw with the six-eyed user way back when, and Mahoraga versus Sukuna is still one of the best fights in the entirety of the series. But Mahoraga was for sure put on work, but Sukuna handled him ultimately with the Fuga. But when Mahoraga was putting on a show against this freak Deborah, who is able to utilize a curse technique based on light, like, brother, what? Mahoraga just feels like Big Raga now. He feels like Big Raga. The name is warranted. He is worthy of the title now because he's putting on a show, and that's all because of Yuka putting her life literally on the line. And she's probably kind of already dead because she's like in some sort of suspended animation death in some sense. So whether or not she actually dies or not, I think we'll have to wait and see what Gege does with that. But the fact that it's based on her cancer, I think is a great play. And then you have Tsurugi himself, who is a really good character, obviously, because Tsurugi not only has to contend with a lot of issues that we see at the beginning of, let's say, the original series about curses and this connection about being someone that's not really, like, a very similar to Maki's situation, but then you see how he overcomes it in his own unique way. But then you have Rika involved, and now you have the idea of, hold on, was there a plan by Maki, his grandmother, and Yuta, his grandpappy, to have Rika siphon his cursed energy when the time was right? When he puts on that helmet and he has to fight against Marlu, who is also justified in why they're fighting. Because you may say, well, hold on, it's not their home world. And yeah, they're looking for a place to stay. Why is there so much angst against fast friends? Well, because it's not about necessarily their friendship, but it's more about the existence of their peoples, where the Japanese can't have freaking curses running around freely because the Sumerians can have a nice mind meld contact. Like, no. And then their curses die, they literally have an impact on their bodies from their third eyes, which could kill them potentially, right? It's not as severe as it was on their home world, but it's still pretty bad. So now it becomes about the survival of their peoples in many respects. And I love how Gege was able to depict that seriousness where even though they're friends, it has to be done. And then seeing Cross kind of go through the same experiences as Marlu did, where Marlu was injured, and then really getting to understand the crew better, understanding the situation of planet Earth better, at least Japan better, and how it kind of ties to, in some ways, what he's gone through in his home world. And then he gets shot in the process by that one fool. And then Deborah, as the king of the Sumerians that are coming to his world, he has to make a move. So good, so well written, so well thought out. Not trying to branch out too much considering how you only have 6 months given Yuka's lifespan, and you have a core cast of characters that you need to get to, but then you can reintroduce Ui, Mei Mei's little brother, who may have switched his body with his sisters because he loved her so much. Kugisaki Nobara, who's making some bread, who's living right now in the high rises, fancy place, the good life. But she mentions how every time her and Yuji meet up, it's too painful for him because this old soldier doesn't die. In the same vein as, let's say, a cursed object like his brother Choso, this man is immortal. He's not dying. When you think about the idea that Sukuna, for as powerful as he is, Sukuna was made into the fingers of Sukuna around the time he was like in his mid-30s. And then you consider the fact that, let's say, someone like Choso, who has been around for, let's say, centuries, but only came into existence for a few months or a few weeks before we see him in JJK season 1. Yuji has had actual time on the ground for like 60 plus years to hone his skills, at the same time seeing his friends pass away because he is immortal. He's not aging and everyone around him is aging. Very Frieren-esque. And you're seeing how detached, how aloof he's become, how he's searching for some kind of pleasure, and he's kind of fallen on the pachinko machines, because we see in JJK, the original story, that's what he used to do sometimes when he would sneak in illegally and play pachinko. And the skill level of Yuji is just, yo, boy. Honestly, Yuji needs his own video. He needs his own video because he's a very deep character, and I love what they're doing with Yuji. I love what Gege is doing with Yuji. I know that folks complain that he should be, so gung-ho, ready to say ready. No. When you think about the words that were said to him by his own grandfather, like whenever you die, you want people that are close to you around you, and yet this man can't die. Speed of death too. Mahito, still in that limbo world, still waiting for something. A lot of the elements that Gege established in the original story are getting fleshed out in Modulo, and that's on top of the already strong framework that Modulo has with the core characters of its own series. Yuka, Marulo, Tsurugi, Deborah, Cross are able to carry the series on their backs. I love that, yo. And they're good. It's really intriguing. It's actually good content. Marulo versus Tsurugi. Marulo with his Jagan Eye, able to manipulate chaos in some way, versus someone that's gone through a Toji manifestation, who had the Rika helmet. That's peak. The fights are peak. Deborah versus Bahuraga, bro. What? The blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's really freaking good, man. This is a really freaking good fight, bro. Yo, like you know for a fact that Mappa reading Modulo, rubbing their hands slowly, like, yep. Oh yeah. You thought we could be done after JJK ends? No, sir. Because they're gonna be cooking. They're gonna be cooking phenomenally when they get to Deborah vs. Maharaga. Oh my goodness. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Make no mistake. It's only a matter of time. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is peak. It's freaking peak. The aura is great. The characters are great. The fights are really damn good. The writing is also very well done too. It coincides with the past material so well, and it can stand on its own material too, which is outstanding. And it could be setting up some stuff in the future as well for another series after Modulo. And it's all wrapping up to be like a 9 out of 10 right now. I ain't giving Boruto 9 out of 10. You crazy? Boruto. Please, come on. We ain't doing that. No sorry. Even if I did catch up to Boruto, that's not happening. Not by a long shot. Modulo is phenomenal. And if you don't care about spoilers and you're here, I suggest you read it. It's gonna be a slow start. I'll admit that. It is a slow start. Once you get the grandpa who was pretending to be a kid on some Diddy activity, things do pick up. And then from there to the moon. Oh my, literally, and beyond. Low key happened recently in the latest chapter that I read, when after you have Yuji and Tsurugi do the crazy cuts to wipe out all those curses, at the end of the chapter, binding vow. I'm like, oh no, not the binding vow crutch, please God, no. But that's the first binding vow I have seen in the entirety of Modulo. I could be wrong. Not many binding vow crutches so far in Modulo, which I think is a really good thing because it cleans up a lot of the power system shenanigans of JJK, or I guess in this case, Modulo, right? So I like that a lot. Overall, yeah, you gotta get on board, bro. If you're here right now reading with me, then you already know it's outstanding. If you haven't read it at all and you're here still, please read it, okay? And you can watch my read-through streams on my Cole Requiem YouTube channel where I read them live. So if you don't know, now you know. Let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. Peace out, stay safe. Catch you guys and gals on the flip side.